Hey everybody, Gary Glass here. I'm on the road again, Orlando, Florida this time, and it's just absolutely gorgeous here. I just staying at the what is this? The Wyndham over by the new Universal Studios Epic that's going to be opening in this coming week. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Anyway, we've been reading Napoleon Hill's book, the 12 Miracles of Life, and it's been absolutely fascinating. We're all the way up to chapter 7, which is the seventh miracle of life, where he's talking about his unseen guides. And you might remember it from Think and Grow Rich, where Hill talks about his invisible counselors, and we'll see if that's what we're talking about here a little bit today as we get into this chapter. So let's dive in. Napoleon Hill's written, our unseen guides, whose existence can be proved only by those who have recognized them and accepted their services, remain at our service from the time of our birth until death. These invisible talismans remain with us while we are awake and watch over us while we sleep, although most people go through life without recognizing their existence. It's not my purpose to give a long dissertation as evidence of the existence of unseen guides who aid human beings, but merely to bring them to the attention of my fellow wayfarers who are willing to accept whatever sources of aid they can find in their search for a way of life which satisfies one's needs and leads to peace of mind. So maybe he's kind of talking about a guardian angel. We'll see here. Had it not been for the aid I received from my friendly unseen guides, I never would have given the world the science of success, which now aids millions of people to recognize and make practical use of their inner resources of power. Those, oh my goodness, I feel like that phrase, inner source, the inner resources, that phrase has been coming up time and time and time again for me of late, and I consider that me right now. I'm considering that to be my self-confidence, my self-discipline, my courage, my ability to make a decision, my ability to persist and not procrastinate. All these different ideas that I want to have as strong as I can within me, so that I can go out and produce the results that I want in my life. So let's continue. 8 of my unseen guides have been recognized and named. Here we go. Each with a name appropriate to the nature of the service it renders. They are here described in detail. Excellent. With an explanation as to the scope and nature of the service each renders and how that service is rendered. But one should keep in mind the fact that the 8 guiding princes are the product of my own imagination. Okay, so it sounds like it's not going to be his invisible counselors like in Think and Grow Rich. And they may be duplicated by anyone who chooses to engage them. I treat my 8 guiding principles, or rather, I treat my 8 guiding princes as though they were real people whose entire services are at my command throughout my life. I give them orders and thank them for their services, just as I would do if they were people, and they react to my requests as though they were real people. A description of the 8 guiding princes, together with an explanation of the service each performs, now follows. And so then we start in with the 8 guiding princes. And so let's just take a peek here. Number 1, the Prince of Financial Prosperity. Okay, so definitely not his invisible counselors. Number 2, Prince of Sound Physical Health. Number 3, Peace of Mind. Prince 4 and 5, the Prince of Hope and the Prince of Faith, and they operate as twins, he says here. 6 and 7, the Prince of Love, as well as the Prince of Romance, again operating as twins. And then finally, number 8, the Prince of Overall Wisdom, which sounds wonderful. And so let's let's read 1 or 2 of these today, and then we'll continue again tomorrow. So number 1, the Prince of Financial Prosperity. The sole responsibility of this invisible guide is to keep me adequately supplied with every material thing which I desire or need to maintain the style of living which I have adopted. That sounds pretty good to me. Pick a style of living, pick a quality of life, pick it, and then go earn the money and live it. Money worries, which destroy the peace of mind of so many people throughout their lives, is something I never experience. When I need money, it is always available in whatever amounts I may require. And here, this next line is in italics, so it's highlighted. But money is neither expected nor obtained without my giving something of equal value in return. So, like Hill says in Think and Grow Rich, there's no free lunch. There never is. You have to give like value for like value. Usually some form of service rendered for the benefit of others. Yep. So have to give something of equal value in return for whatever it is that you want. So that was Prince number one of financial prosperity. Prince number two is the Prince of sound physical health. The sole responsibility of this invisible guide is that of keeping my physical body in perfect order at all times, including the conditioning of the body for any adjustments which have to be made, such as that of preparation for dentistry. Before this prince took over, I was subject to headaches, constipation, and at times physical exhaustion, all of which have been corrected. The Prince of Sound Physical Health keeps all the vital organs of my body alert and functioning at all times, keeps the billions of individual cells of my body properly charged with bodily resistance. And here we go again in a little bit of italics. So this is highlighted, and provides adequate immunity against all contagious diseases. Interesting how that's highlighted, and I find it interesting that I feel that in some of the readings and in some of the studies that I've done, even cancer. There's a study that I've seen of late where pretty much everybody that has any kind of a cancer, anywhere between 6 months and 18 months before the dis-ease was discovered, that there was some sort of an emotional, I don't know, negative, some sort of a negative emotional, I'll even call it of trauma, although that might be even too strong a word. And then they have that negative emotional event, and then 6 months, 18 months later, uh, they some sort of a cancer materializes and is either beaten or not. Anyway, let it be remembered, however, that I cooperate with the Prince of Sound Physical Health by sensible living habits such as proper eating, the right amount of sleep, and habits which balance my work with an equal amount of play. But particularly, I keep my mind occupied with positive, constructive thinking and never permit it to engage in any form of fear, superstition, or hypochondria. And last, with every morsel of food and every drop of liquid which goes into my mouth, I add a generous mixture of worship, through which I express thanks to my invisible guide, the Prince of Sound Physical Health. For maintenance of perfect health throughout my body, I most enjoy a peaceful calmness throughout my life, in all my activities and experiences. But especially do I make it a business to eat my food in an atmosphere of joyous serenity. Oh, I love that word, just to be serene, to be calm, to be just, that's beautiful. We have no set hour for family discipline in our home, but if we did have such an hour, it would not be at mealtime, as is the case in many homes. Every thought one expresses while eating becomes a part of the energy which goes into the food and enters the bloodstream, and that thought makes its way to the brain, where it blesses or curses one according to whether the thought is positive or negative. Evidence of this truth may be found in the case of the mother who nurses her child at her breast. If she becomes worried or negative minded for any reason while the child is nursing, her state of mind will poison the milk and give the child indigestion or colic. And of course, it is well known to doctors that most stomach ulcers are due mainly to worry and negative thinking. Kind of gets back to that cancer. If you're interested, you might check out a guy. I don't know if he's in Wikipedia or not, but his name was Reich Hammer, Rykhehamer, and then that's the fellow that's been done, that had done. He's passed away now. His students are keeping up his website, and just who's done such great work with negative emotions and cancers. Anyway, this small piece on the Prince of Sound Physical Health continues. It is obvious, therefore. So we just said, of course, it's well known to doctors, and we just gave the doctor example, that most stomach ulcers are due mainly to worry and negative thinking. It is obvious, therefore, that the Prince of Sound Physical Health must have a considerable amount of intelligent cooperation in order to keep the physical body operating effectively and normally. This is the price one must pay for good health. And there we go. Let's tell you what, let's stop it right there. And you know what? Talking about sound physical health, he mentioned diet, eating the right foods. I'd suggest, and he suggested even eating in the right way with having such gratitude while you're eating. Be grateful for that food, and so that the energy that you're putting onto the food, into the food as you're eating it and then digesting it is nothing but positive. Makes such a huge difference. So I hope everybody's having a fabulous day, and that it's a beautiful, what is it? It's a beautiful Saturday afternoon here in Florida, and we'll see you next time. So as I say, God bless you. God bless me. God bless us, everyone. Have a fabulous day, everybody. Bye-bye now. We'll see you soon.